Greetings, salutations, hello, fellow nations. My name is Phil, and that, of course, is Phil with one L. And there's never been a better time to be a horror fan than right now. The genre is undoubtedly on a generational streak, and it's also weirdly never been a better time to be a YouTuber in the horror space. We have the Philippou brothers, formerly known as Raka Raka. I watched their videos all the time in high school with my friends, and in the last couple years, those twisted twins have given us both Talk to Me and Bring Her Back. And even earlier this year, Markiplier's Iron Lung was a smash hit. Curry Barker, no relation to Clive and best known from That's a Bad Idea, is making his debut with Obsession, which honestly is my most anticipated horror just based off of that incredible trailer and all of the word of mouth that it's been getting.
Yep, I saw it. Can confirm it was good as hell.
But my second most anticipated horror film this year would probably have to be Backrooms, based on the internet sensation that was adapted from a photo on 4chan into an original viral web series by Kane Parsons. And this thing hit, and it was an absolute sensation. I will never forget all of the swirl of theories and discussions and just all the videos that came out around this concept. And now Kane is 21 and has written and directed a film based on his series that's being distributed by A24 and stars both an Oscar winner and an Oscar nominee. What the fuck am I doing with my life?
I'm such a fat fucking chud.
If you aren't familiar with the Backrooms, I recommend you check out Kane's short films as well as all of the others that are on this platform. There's so many that you can dive into. To put it simply, the Backrooms are an extra-dimensional liminal space that any person, at any time, could randomly fall out of our reality and slip into, implying that the world we currently live in is nothing more than a mere simulation. Since that photo was posted in 2019, multiple users across the internet have expanded upon the concept, adding levels and explaining the assorted entities and creatures that you may run into. Personally, I absolutely love cosmic horror, the idea of the universe's nature stretching far beyond our own understanding of it. It sends shivers down my spine in both the good and the bad ways. I also think that the idea of the Backrooms kind of hits a little close to home because as a kid, during the summers, I would go to work with my dad sometimes, and he worked out of a high school, which would be empty because it was the summer. And while he was working, I would just roam the halls and the giant empty library, and it pretty much felt like taking a side quest in the Backrooms. There's been multiple takes on the lore of the Backrooms, from found footage short films to video games. So naturally, I'm here to talk about the worst one. Yes, what if I told you that this wasn't Hollywood's first time trying to bring the Backrooms to our screens? About a year and a half ago, Hulu's annual Halloween event, Huluween, aired the back half of American Horror Story's third season, which was delayed due to the strikes. And that's American Horror Stories plural. This is a spin-off of American Horror Story, which was an anthology series on FX that has the gimmick of a different story and characters every season. This spin-off was made to be an episodic anthology, so there's a different story every episode. I didn't finish the last season of American Horror Story. I made it about halfway through before I just kind of forgot about it and I just never finished it. And then after the first season of American Horror Stories, I dropped that one too. So I haven't really been as up to date. So imagine my surprise when I found out that it was still going and they did an episode about the Backrooms. The episode begins with writer Daniel Hausman Berger. Americans, when they're trying to think of a protagonist for their horror story, imagine a burger. Daniel is working on his next script, seemingly burying himself in his next project to distract himself from the disappearance of his son, Roman. He is visited by his agent, Aaron, who urges him to take a break and leave his house, reassuring him that the authorities are doing everything they can to find his son. Daniel angrily refuses and tells Aaron to leave, but while walking through the door of his office, he finds himself in what appears to be a convenience store. This just looks like they filmed it in a Target. Or my bad, Target. Like, come on, I know we're working with a TV budget here, but we could at least make it look as good as, I don't know, the short film it's based on. Also good to know that there's La Croix in the Backrooms. Is it La Croix or La Croix? I don't know. I don't speak French. I'm more of a bubbly and a Waterloo kind of guy anyways. After being startled by an announcement over the PA, Daniel immediately grabs a shovel and starts moving down the halls, which honestly, I gotta respect. You always grab a weapon. Always. He finds a help button and presses it repeatedly until the power suddenly shuts off.
Who's there? Fuck you, get out here. Hey. Are you okay?
Yeah, I don't think I would reveal myself to someone who says, fuck you, get out here, followed by, hey, are you okay? I think you asked those questions in the wrong order, big dog. He tries to break through a locked door, and while doing so, we see flashes of a playground while blood slowly oozes from underneath, with the last image being a red-faced entity. Ooh, they want Insidious's nachos so bad. Okay, that's a pretty cool shot. I can't lie. I mean, this episode isn't all bad. There's some neat visuals sprinkled throughout here and there. Roman and this cloaked figure slowly walk away, and as Daniel reaches out for him, he suddenly finds himself back at home, where he has been for 3 weeks. He finds this out when he calls Aaron to apologize. Also, during the intro, I saw the name Natalie Gold, and I thought it was the reaction YouTuber Natalie Gold, but no, it's a different Nat. He meets his agent and his ex-wife for lunch. They tell him that their son's body has been found, buried in a park with his red blanket, and upon hearing that the cops are tracing DNA to find the killer, he goes on a delusional rant about how hell is real.
Do you know we invented hell? We made it. We manifested it.
This is where I immediately just started rolling my eyes, because this is 15 minutes in and I immediately knew where the rest of the episode was going, and we'll touch more on that towards the end of the video. Daniel vows to find whoever did it and kill them. He gets up to go to the restroom for a breather, but once again finds himself in the back rooms. This time, it is the classic yellow walls we all know and love. Although the color grading makes it look more green than anything, and the wallpaper is printed extremely fucking huge for some reason. I mean, look at it in comparison to the original image and stills from the shorts. Am I crazy? Like, did someone get the ratios incorrect and they just didn't have enough money to reprint it? Also, what abandoned Foremont Mills did they film this in? I was gonna say Spirit Halloween, but no, this is definitely a
Foremont Mills!
Okay, so upon researching and looking into it, the backroom set was built out of an abandoned Lord & Taylor store in the Livingston Mall in New Jersey. And after they finished filming, the set was left as it was, with the wallpaper still on the wall, which is pretty cool, even though the mall itself has been abandoned. So I guess now it's time for AHS, the Rolling Giant. Also, imagine being one of those explorers that like goes into abandoned buildings and you just end up in the back rooms. Daniel's reaction to being there is also pretty accurate and hilarious.
What the fuck?
It also reminded me of Josh Brolin's brilliant delivery and weapons.
What the fuck?
Daniel finds a ladder leading to a hole in the walls. Climbing through it, he finds himself in a room with a bunch of discarded cloaks adorned with white masks scattered across the floor. He flicks through a television, seeing nothing but static, until a fancy-ass banquet suddenly appears behind him. He finds his Oscar inside a pig roast at the center of the table. Wow. Subtle. The cloaks and masks come to life and begin applauding him until he drops the award in shock, shattering it. Which, I don't think you can you shatter an Oscar? That's when the robe figures start tweaking and chase Daniel until he squeezes through a tight space to lose them. Bro is really getting chased by the unknown from the Glasgow Willy Wonka experience. But on the other side of the wall, he sees Roman, who takes off his mask, revealing his eyes are gone, with blood pouring out of the sockets.
Ominous foreshadowing.
Back home in his office, Daniel silently stares at a revolver in his desk, seemingly considering you-know-what before shutting it. He decides to do research on everyone's favorite search engine, searchforthings.com. Come on, guys. What are we doing here? He then goes to not YouTube, where he finds a video from a guy named Eli who shot footage of the backrooms on a film camera, as no other technology works there. Daniel then goes to meet Eli in prison.
The social contract. The rules that exist for being a member of this species. When a person breaks those rules, they can disconnect from our collective perception of reality.
I just know that this man has a killer fedora collection at home. I don't know. I would watch an Eli the Navigator spinoff. Something tells me this guy gets into some shenanigans. Eli gives the basic explanation of what the backrooms are, a middle area that people can slip into like a glitch in the video game that is our reality. He explains that the reason he ended up there was because he murdered a woman in a hit and run accident. This happened because he ran a stop sign because he was trying to access a coupon for dog food. So, it's not funny. It's not funny, but it is because these are not the shenanigans I was referring to. I'm sorry, but can you imagine becoming street meat because someone needed 15% off their gravy train? I would be so mad. Now I'm twisted up on the side of the road like a raccoon with tire tracks printed across my stomach because you know, at least you got your bacon strips. And I was in the bike lane. This woman was still alive after he struck her, but Eli let her die and impulsively lies to the police, saying it was her that ran the stop sign. And that's when he started to slip into the back rooms.
Hello?
It wasn't until he confessed and turned himself in that he was free. He then tells Daniel that he will have to do the same in order to not get stuck there. Do you see where we're going with this? Daniel gets home where he gets a phone call from his ex-wife screaming, crying, and calling him a monster as the police begin surrounding his home. And every time he denies it, he shifts into the back rooms for a moment. When the authorities knock down his door, he goes for his revolver, a handgun, against a SWAT team. How did you think this was going to end? Also, why is he being swatted? I thought SWAT teams took care of like big threats, like terrorists or active shooters. An Oscar award-winning child murderer kind of seems like small potatoes. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know anything. Anyway, as the squadron light him up like a Christmas tree, we get flashes of what really happened to Roman. We see that Daniel was a neglectful workaholic, often coming home late. While trying to write his next great script, he finds his concentration being broken by how noisy his son is being because he's a kid. But I'm sure boomers would definitely be on Daniel's side. You know, back in my day, if a kid had the gall to run their mouth, you would just until they stopped. The thing that kills me is that he leaves. He left his wife and his son so he can work in peace. I mean, it's a shitty thing to do, yeah, but he left them. He walked out on them, and I guess decided to spin the block to get his lick back. Like, see what I mean? They were just throwing stuff at the wall. And honestly, the scene where he's strangling Roman is almost a little too well done for me. Like, watching this child flail around while he's being murdered by his father was whoa. And because we're in the last 10 minutes, they don't flesh this out at all. It's just literally flashback. Oh, I'm a writer and I can't concentrate because my son is being noisy upstairs. Me and my wife argue. Cut to me strangling him in the park. It's like, whoa, okay, I think we missed a couple chapters there. They don't make his son seem like evil or like a brat or anything. Not that that would justify child murder, but at least there would be some sort of motive present because it's pretty much non-existent here. I'm just inferring based on what they show us. It'd be like at the end of Taken, Liam Neeson is revealed to have kidnapped his own daughter. That's not a random reference, by the way. They actually name dropped that movie at the beginning of the episode.
Do you know how many kids end up in the hands of Bulgarian sex traffickers? Have you not seen Taken? That's a fucking movie.
There was absolutely no foreshadowing for this reveal. Like, yes, they had been doing ominous flashes implying that something bad had happened, but even then I hoped it wouldn't be as obvious as it clearly was and turned out to be. Because we spend so much time on Daniel trying to figure out why he keeps slipping into the back rooms, and just before the episode ends, we get a ham-fisted series of flashbacks revealing that he actually hated his kid the entire time and is the reason he went missing. I don't know, I think it would have been cool if his son actually did go missing in the back rooms, and there is some tension there because he's like, oh, I gotta go find my son. I see my son in the back rooms. I gotta go get him. You know, I think that's a way more interesting story. But instead, it's just, why do I keep ending up in this ominous hell dimension that stretches beyond our understanding of space and time? Oh, right, it's that kid I killed. My kid that I killed. Well, that'll do it. After dying, Daniel ends up in the Red Rooms, which I will give this episode credit. It is cool that they adapt multiple levels of the Backrooms. Like, it would have been so easy for them to just do the yellow wallpaper and call it a day. But no, there was an attempt made, and I will acknowledge it. He goes down an escalator where he runs into a red-faced elderly woman sitting on a swing, holding Roman in her arms like she's his mother. Ooh, they want barbarians nachos so bad. Jokes aside, this is a pretty cool, very, very creepy visual. We don't see his son's face at all as he's being swaddled in a blanket it's the blanket that Daniel buried him with, in the arms of this chilling entity whom his voice projects through as like a motherly conduit.
But you've only just arrived. You traveled so far. No one has ever come this deep before.
As the mass cult surrounds him, Daniel pleads to be released back to reality, swearing to tell the truth about what he did to Roman.
Have you missed me, Daddy?
Of course. Of course. Every day. Every day, my son. Every day, my precious boy.
It's a good thing he's a writer and not an actor, because woof. Despite his obvious deception, Redface tells Daniel that he is free to leave and that all he has to do is follow the sign. Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely trust that. There's nothing sketchy about that at all. When Daniel exits, he finds himself in a waiting area where he takes a number and has a seat. On the table are a few magazines about fatherhood. Petty as hell. The message board for service begins counting from 1 while glancing at his ticket, which reads this number that I didn't bother looking up how to read out loud. Needless to say, Daniel is going to be there for a very, very long time. And the episode ends. So they just straight up ripped off the ending of Beetlejuice and thought we wouldn't notice. Look, I get the fun of the Backrooms is that anyone can create their own lore and story for it because of how physically and metaphorically massive and endless it is. That's why we have so many short films and lore bibles and video games set within this world. But bare minimum, Backrooms is supposed to be an uncanny labyrinth, a result of this alternate dimension trying to replicate our reality from memory, but it can't quite get it right. That's why it's so off-putting. You're stuck with God knows what in this endless space that is an eerie replication of what you know to be familiar. Making the Backrooms hell or purgatory, I'm sorry to say, is the most boring, least interesting direction you could take with this. Like, maybe you could take that basic premise and expand upon it in an interesting direction, but more often than not, you're just writing yourself into a corner. You're telling me that this open world that seems to have no end, a universe within our universe, is just another afterlife that you end up in when you do bad stuff. Great, never heard of that one before. Also, if you follow Kane Parsons' short films, you know his version of the story delves more into the science fiction side of things, which in my opinion is more intriguing. And Kane himself seemingly threw a little bit of shade at this adaptation of the Backrooms while promoting his film.
It's a maze-like world that doesn't have an inherent point to it, and and I think the idea, what I always appreciated, is that it's just described like it's a natural phenomenon. There's nothing like spiritual or like there's no like morality to it. So it's not like it's a divine judgment. If you've done wrong, if you've got guilt harbored, it'll take you away or something. It's just like,
it's not hell.
Yeah, it's not hell. It's not even like quite purgatory because you don't do anything to end up there. It just randomly happens and you can't really do anything to get out. It's
like
just
what you said, a procedural dungeon run.
Yeah, it's just a hypothetical, like it's playing into the feeling of glitching and getting stuck in a video game, basically. It is a scary place, but I think it's like more intriguing than people give it credit for. Like, I think people do miss the mark sometimes with their own Backrooms projects when they go for like a space where the lights get too dark, it gets too green. It's like scary. Like if it's trying to be like a dark haunted house or a dungeon, it just falls apart because that's not
right.
The original image is very bright and it's very like low contrast and kind of like faded looking.
Yeah, just leave the heaven and hell evangelical metaphors to the Mandela catalog. Backrooms is such an incredible sandbox and deserves more than a 40-minute episode. So I know that the film at least is going to deliver where the episode failed. Cannot lie to you though, if Ryan Murphy announced that the next season of American Horror Story was based on the Backrooms, I would unfortunately have to be sad. Like, what a huge missed opportunity it is that we don't have Sarah Paulson roaming the halls of the Backrooms.
No, Mary, no, 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 no. It's American. I'm not used to all this garbage. Please don't make it.
But what did you think? Are you a fan of the Backrooms? Did you check out this episode? If so, what are your thoughts? And how excited are you for the movie? It's, like I said earlier, one of my most, it's my second most anticipated. It's literally Obsession and then Backrooms. I cannot wait to see both of those. Drop a comment down below. Like and subscribe if you feel like it. And please remember, at the end of the day, every day, it's all good. And if it's not right now, I promise it's gonna be. Take care, Nomies. I'll see you in the next one.